Imagine this situation. It's 2 a.m., you're wide awake, staring at the ceiling, while your thoughts spiral through every financial nightmare that could happen tomorrow. Your car might break down. Your laptop could stop working. You could get laid off. Now, what if I told you there's a specific amount of money that could erase most of this and completely change how you move through life? Many people believe financial milestones are just random numbers invented by wealthy people to make everyone else feel behind. But here's something that might surprise you. There's real psychology and math behind why certain amounts of money dramatically shift how you live day to day. And the first true game changer is not $1 million or even $100,000. It's $10,000. My name is Rick, and I spend far too much time thinking about money, human behavior, and why some people seem to move smoothly through financial problems, while others are constantly stressed about their bank balance. If you've ever wondered what it actually feels like to have different amounts of savings, and more importantly, how each milestone changes the way you make decisions, make sure to hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if it helps bring clarity. Before we get into why $10,000 is so powerful, let me describe what life looks like without it. You know that moment at the grocery store when you're thinking whether you can afford the name brand cereal or if you should settle for the generic one that tastes like cardboard. Or when your friends suggest going out to eat and you invent an excuse, because admitting that a $25 meal would wreck your weekly budget feels uncomfortable. This is daily life for millions of people living paycheck to paycheck. Every financial choice requires careful calculation. Every unexpected expense feels like a looming disaster. You're always playing defense with your money instead of making proactive decisions about your future. But here's where things start to get interesting. There's a specific psychological shift that happens when you save your first $10,000. And it has nothing to do with buying expensive stuff. In fact, most people who reach this milestone don't suddenly change how they spend at all. The first thing that shifts is how you relate to risk. When you have no savings, every decision feels dangerous. Switching jobs, moving to a new city, or even planning a vacation becomes incredibly stressful. One mistake could financially destroy you. But when you have $10,000 sitting in your account, those same choices feel manageable. You're probably not quitting your job tomorrow to become a professional juggler, but you might finally feel confident enough to ask for that promotion you've been thinking about. You might invest in yourself by taking a course or certification. That increases your earning potential. The safety net doesn't make you reckless, it gives you permission to think beyond surviving until the next paycheck. Something else fascinating happens in your brain when you see a 5-figure balance. For the first time, neuroscience research shows that financial security lowers cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. In other words, hitting $10,000 doesn't just improve your finances, it changes how your body responds to everyday challenges. Think about the last time your car had a minor issue. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, a check engine light can feel like a countdown to disaster. You immediately stress about repair costs, credit cards, or borrowing money from family. But with $10,000 saved, that same warning light becomes an inconvenience. It's annoying, but it's not terrifying. This shift from panic to mild frustration might seem small, but it creates ripple effects throughout your entire life. When you're not constantly stressed about money, you make better decisions overall. You sleep better. You're more productive at work. You're more patient with friends and family. Financial stress touches every part of human behavior, and removing it frees up mental energy you can use to actually improve your life. Here's something most people don't realize about the $10,000 milestone. The biggest benefit doesn't come from spending the money. It comes from knowing it's there. This is what financial experts call the emergency fund effect, and it's one of the most underrated concepts in personal money management. An emergency fund isn't really about emergencies. It's about peace of mind. Most people who save $10,000 never actually use it for emergencies. Instead, they use it for opportunities. They invest in education, start businesses, move to better locations, or simply gain the mental space to focus on increasing their income. Because they're no longer worried about survival. There's also a confidence boost that's hard to measure but impossible to ignore. When you know you have money in the bank, you carry yourself differently. You advocate for yourself more effectively. You're willing to walk away from bad deals because you're not desperate. That confidence often leads to better jobs, stronger relationships, and better life outcomes overall. You might be thinking that $10,000 sounds completely unrealistic, especially if saving even $100 a month feels difficult right now. But here's the surprising part. The hardest part is not saving the money itself. The hardest part is becoming the kind of person who saves money. Most people treat saving like a temporary diet. They slash expenses for a few months, save aggressively, burn out, and then fall back into their old habits. The people who actually reach $10,000 don't see saving as a short-term sacrifice. They see it as an identity shift. The process also gets easier over time. Saving your first $1,000 is brutal. It requires discipline and lifestyle changes. Saving the next $1,000 is easier because the habits are already there. By the time you're working toward $5,000 or $6,000, saving starts to feel automatic. If you're staring at a bank balance that looks painfully small, don't panic. Start tiny, stay consistent, and remember, the person you become while saving your first $10,000 is far more valuable than the $10,000 itself.